Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
recording has started.
Okay. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. ربي أني مسني الضر وأنت أرحم الراحمين. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum, tekrar again. I'm happy that we are going to start, inshallah, today, a new chapter, which is as you see it, 26th revealed chapter of the Quran. It is revealed around third year of the mission of the prophethood. And that time, in the context of the life of the prophet, the messenger of Allah, the people, especially those who are getting ready or who are getting ready as slaves, poor people, only one of them was exception, who was Abu Bakr. Why he was a knowledgeable person, one of the knowledgeable person of the community or Quraysh, Meccan community among the Quraysh tribe, and who was uh, if you like, the prime person who knows the genealogy of Arab tribes, which was the most important knowledge for the Arab people that time, because they were only basing all their values on their tribe affiliations. So it was everybody was coming and consulting Abu Bakr about their ancestors, their relatives, and their relatives in other tribes. So he was one of the well-known person. And he was also merchant going out of Mecca, of course. I mean, a merchant means not a merchant of these days, in a small tribe, of course, and in the middle of desert, they have no resources. So bringing some goods from the neighboring tribes or other states. But Abu Bakr, it's interesting. We have to know this background so that we will apply it to our practical life now. Why is it important? Because there were many people, of course, in the area. Many doesn't mean that a lot. The historians estimate that the population of Mecca was that time 1,200. That's it. I mean, it is not as big as a village nowadays. So, but it was also moderate size of a town that time. And Meccan people did not know anything about prophethood or messenger. Although we have to know that they were calling Kaaba as the Baytullah, the house of God. Yeah, they believed in a creator who created the universe. There must be there about the sky, etc. That is how much they were aware of the existence of God. Generally, they didn't deny God existing outside of the universe somewhere. They don't know. That time, that's why they want to have their tribal representative gods for them, because in human nature, it is quite natural, if you like, to understand that or to desire that God must be present. Of course, they didn't know how to bring God to their presence by the way of realizing, through realizing who God is. There was no such training, there was no such education at all in the area. So Medinian people had heard about prophethood, about the message, about God's speech to a prophet, a messenger, and revealing scripture, which is called the book. But in Meccan culture, there was no such culture at all. But those people who were dealing with commerce or trade, they heard that there are some tribes in Medina. They believe in something that God revealed or spoke to some people and revealed a book. They have religion in Mecca. Religion did not exist as we understand now. Religion meant one's way of life or one's concept of understanding of something maybe sacred, but they didn't know. Especially we have to understand that, as we say, Prophet Abraham, no, for the Arabs, it wasn't a prophet. It was the patriarch of the Arab nation. Ishmael, his son Ismail, is the first man who established this nation mixed up with this Arab nation and settled down in Mecca. There was no people in Mecca at that time. Of course, after getting married, when Ismail was born in Mecca, there were no one there. But as the Zamzam, the well of Zamzam, occurred, discovered, whatever you call them, created there, whatever it is not important for our understanding of the background of this chapter. But people started seeing that the birds, these Arabs, were really, really experts of following what will happen, what is happening around by following the birds in the sky. That's called tire. That's why tire, the word is also related to one's fortune, how the fortune is going to get a direction. So they were, that was the culture. So they knew. They were organizing their social life, even declaring war or seizing the war according to the birds fly this way or another way. It was their culture that time. This is also not our subject, but how the Arab nation started that. Why I am telling all this? This is important that the Arab nation did not have the concept of prophethood. That is, they were understanding of Ibrahim as their patriarch. Nothing to do with God, nothing to do with revelation, the prophethood. This concept did not exist. For example, the word, we call it Nabi, as the Quran calls it Nabi, is not an Arabic word. It is an Hebrew word. Hebrew, and that time before Arabic language was developed there, Hebrew and Syriac language was the famous language of that time in the around the peninsula of Arabia. So this Nabi is the word, even Nabi is borrowed from Hebrew language, and also similar language is used in Aramaic. Why I'm telling this? Because you can imagine that even the concept did not exist really in the way that the Quran uses it. It was a new thing. Rasul is a general word. Anybody transferring any news and any message from one tribe to another is a Rasul. It means really transmitter, if you like, or a means of correspondence, Rasul. That is why the Meccan people or the tribes around there, when they heard that somebody, a person in Mecca is declaring, announcing that he has received from God. What does it mean? What? Because there were no such concept. The resistance not only comes from that the Prophet Muhammad, the messenger of God, has declared that there is one God and the idols are just inventions and stupid to make a symbol of a tribe and take it as a god, representative god of that tribe. It was so strange for them. The belief in God wasn't. And his claim of the idols was not really. The idols is just nonsense. But it wasn't really the main reason, but the main reason is I received message from the Creator. What? And also, the chieftains were very careful that their already established social, political, economical status should not be challenged. That was very important. For example, the first revealed verses, chapters of the Quran emphasize on giving charity, not transgressing the poor people's rights, taking care of the needy people, not really degrading the value of any person because of his poverty. These kind of social factors were shocking for the leading chieftains of the tribes. So some people, among whom Abu Bakr was the most curious man, he used to go to the coasts around the Arabian Peninsula doing trade, but at the same time trying to understand the cultures of these people. He was a knowledgeable man. So hearing that Christians there on the western side of Habeshia, Habeshi people. So nowadays it's called, Ethiopia. So there they believe that there's a God and there is then the person who is employed by God, representing God, whatever, but as if somebody is related to God. They heard this culture from Ethiopian people, Habeshi people. And from the eastern side, it means depending on where you stand, okay, let's say Indian Ocean side of the, or Arabian Peninsula side, Arabian Gulf side of Arabian Peninsula, the Zoroastrians, Majusis, were there, Iranian culture were there, and also they had sacred books. So Abu Bakr was saying, look, people are talking about some sacred books. People are talking about there are some people who are connected to God and communicating with God. What does it mean? That is why he was wondering. He explains this in the history books. He says, as soon as he heard that the Prophet Muhammad والسلام, declared that I received message from God, he said, that's it, I got it. The people around us are all claiming this kind of things, and we don't have anything like that. And just we say that our tribe is the best, the representative God of our tribe is the best God, etc. These are just trash. Doesn't mean the what God is the one I make by myself. I declared its authority on me, and it's just some inanimate being. And he was already inclined to accept this message, and he just came closer to the Prophet Muhammad, and he said, let me check, and he's immediately, with not much hesitation, he understood that he is an honest person. He knew that he was honest anyways, trustful person, but he was honest in his declaration of the prophethood as well, but he is not asking for a status. That was the charming side of it. That is interesting. So it means if a person does not have the concept of speech of God transferred to human beings through revelation to a person, this concept is the most important concept for a person to understand the value of religion. It means a kind of understanding of the universe, understanding of the personal life, understanding of the social life, under the guidance of the creator of the universe. That was a new idea. What my understanding is, nowadays, we have the same problem. Christianity doesn't have the concept of prophethood. Jesus is not a prophet, not a messenger for them. Jesus is the representative of God on earth. If they don't believe in it, some of the denominations, many denominations of Christianity accepts the Old Testament, that's what the Christians call, and Jewish people feel offended when you say, don't say, by the way, don't say to a Jewish person referring to Torah as the Old Testament. For them, that is the only testament. So Muhammad and Jesus just were fake people, according to them. Of course, everybody is free to say whatever they want to say. Anyways, it is interesting, again, that the concept now of messengership is accepted by Jewish people, but they are the prophets receiving God's warning to people only if they deteriorate, corrupt their nation, to remind them that God's wrath is approaching. That's why the word to prophecy means giving news about the future, not emphasizing on the necessity of the existence of the hereafter. That is why in Judaism, belief in hereafter is not as clear cut as it is in Islam. In Christianity also is the same, but depends on which denomination you follow in Christianity. Again, some people feel that God will completely send the disbelievers in Jesus into non-existence and reward those people who believed in Jesus. Jesus will save them here and there in the hereafter. That's how they interpret it. Of course, the Muslims believe that, I believe that Jesus was just a messenger, and whoever follows his message is saved here in the world and in the hereafter. For them, whoever believes in him as what? Not very clear. Some of them says as son of God. Some of them says as adopted of God. Some of them says one aspect of God. That is their problem. I'm just giving this very rough information to get to know what's going on in the world that we are living now. But the concept of prophethood is accepted fully in its really real sense, which means receiving the message from the Creator and delivering it to the people. And representing the content of this message in his life is theoretically in Islam. But there is a bad question here. Are we really aware of this reality that God speaks, really? But in Islam, yes, God spoke and revealed the message to the prophet. Yeah, that's correct. I don't say no at all. Everybody accepts this. Afshan wants to speak. Excuse me, Afshan. Let me complete this if you don't mind. Or if you say right now you want to say it, what you want to say?
I don't mind. We can wait.
All right, keep your question. Don't forget, not the question, really, comment, question, whatever it is. That's your right to speak. I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at the participants list. So I just noticed that. So anyways, what is important? We have to really understand and be very convinced that not only I believe in Muhammad as the prophet of God, messenger of God, he received God through the Gabriel and the Gabriel brought it from God. But we should really understand that without God speaking and giving guidance to me, with verbal speech, my word, my understanding of existence is or has no base. Meaningless. This word is meaningless. That's not difficult. Look at the word. It's speaking to us in a way that you understand the action-wise speech, acting and speaking, giving the news about its source of existence. That is fine. That I think we realize, all those people who follow and join this class is very clear about it. Yes, universe speaks. Universe is a book. Okay, fine. But this speech of the universe must be accompanied with a verbal speech of the Creator coming down to the level of human beings and using the vocabulary as the human beings use, and giving the examples at the level of the comprehension and experience of the people in this world. Inshallah, we have to concentrate on it. Then we understand there is a messenger. As long as we are satisfied with this understanding that God must speak, then we start getting closer to the concept of religion, as the Quran says, ad-din. What does it mean? Now, I have my set of thinking. I have my set of understanding the universe, my personal life, the reason of existence, purpose of my existence and the existence of the universe. And what am I supposed to do here? Everything becomes clear. But for those people during the life of the prophet, the messenger of God, this concept did not exist, generally speaking, with a small exception. Abu Bakr, Abu Sufyan, they were the big traders, and there may be some other Walid bin Mughira type of people, although Abu Jahl, we call it Abu Jahl, but he was really one of the most leading figure of the knowledgeable people, authority of the clan or tribe, of course. But Abu Sufyan and Abu Bakr were very much aware of this concept, but general body of the people in Mecca and also around Mecca, the tribes around Mecca did not have the concept of messengership. So when Abu Bakr was a prominent man and also somehow wealthy, so he was one of the prominent people of the tribe, and he had important position to have a word to say about the organization, administration, and the social relationship, maybe political relationship, on the inter-tribe relationship. He and Umar ibn Hattab. So Ibn Hattab. So they were in the position to say something. So when Abu Bakr embraced Islam, especially after Umar ibn Khattab joined the community, it's very famous, he was the 40th person, whatever, doesn't matter, but it was among 1,200 people, 40 people united around one man, social status, this man, the messenger of God, Muhammad, did not have any social status. He was an orphan, he was really poor, profession-wise, he was a shepherd. So he was doing before. So before his position was like this. Anyways, so, but honest man, yeah, trustful man, yes. But that is very important to establish your trustfulness in order to have a word in the society so that the people will take notice of what you said and take you seriously. Especially in this side, the Prophet Muhammad was really well-established status in the society, but wealth-wise, authority-wise, he didn't have almost anything. So he was an orphan, first of all, among the Arab tribes. It was the tradition that orphan means, come on, just you can use it as a slave, like a slave, even he wasn't a slave. So that was the position. But Abu Bakr started reciting the Quran publicly. People of this area, Arab people, were fond of poetry. So you see that the poetic side of the first revealed chapters of the Quran is peerless, impossible to get closer next to it at all. For example, we are going to study وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا جَلَّاهَا. All the Arabs were really smashed when they heard the poetic side of it. And also content-wise was strange. Their context, their traditional context, mostly concentrated on the values of the tribe. Nothing really comparing the tribe, the most beautiful girl in the world, and talking about how beautiful the girl is, in fact, referring to how their tribe was beautiful and the most excellent tribe in the area. But the content was really strange. You know, for example, when you hear the other, we are reading the 26th revealed chapter of the Quran. All the chapters we studied now, you can really see the beauty of the poetic side of the Quran. Content-wise is completely different, describing the collapse of these people, collapse of the universe, destruction of the universe, completely not stable at all. What? Universe is not stable? The people were really surprised. And also talking about the social structure. That was extremely important. Advising people to take care of the poor and never transgress the rights of orphans, etc. Oh, what does it mean? If I'm the powerful, I must be able to do anything I want. But this message says no to take care of this. And also blaming those people who are transgressing the rights of other socially low status of the people. These are new, but the poetic side was excellent. They loved listening to Abu Bakr reciting the Quran, especially at night. Abu Bakr was reciting the Quran in his house, open door, let the people hear. I mean, the door, not like our door that there's a lock on something, no, just a curtain, this kind of things. Now, tribal life and just simple house means a room mostly, at the most rich ones too. In Medina, they had two story houses, by the way, but in Mecca, no. There was nothing, but they learned it from Jewish people, architecture, this kind, but not really architecture, but at least to have two-story house. They learned it from Jewish people. Jewish people were very advanced in this kind of art, technology of that time, actually, mostly architecture. Anyways, and reading and writing also, Jewish people were much, much ahead of the Arab tribes. These are the informations. I don't know whether useful or not. I'm just sharing it with you. So people, that's what I'm giving the background of the revelation of this chapter. They were getting annoyed that Abu Bakr was an honorable person in the community, and they couldn't really say something to it. It means if an honorable person is really criticized or intervened in his personal life, it means in other honorable people who were themselves would be subject to the same treatment. So they respected each other in order to preserve the status. But now it is becoming so dangerous. The development is getting faster and wider and stronger by the joining of Omar to the community. Oh, they said, how can we stop it? They requested Abu Bakr on many occasions that he should not recite this thing. For them, it was a thing. The poet, or the Muhammad's poet, in their eyes, loudly, because it's attracting people. People used to come and listen to him. So Abu Bakr said, come on, do I say anything to you what you do? Come on, what are you doing? And then they said, we have to take more stronger precautions. And they wanted to almost threat Abu Bakr if he doesn't stop, they will do something physical attack. So that is the third year. Somehow the people were, non-Muslims, of course. Now, there was no concept of wisdom that time, non-believers in the prophethood of Muhammad, the messenger of God. So they were trying to attack Abu Bakr, and also Muhammad coming to the Kaaba and doing some strange things, praying to God and in Kaaba and not having any idol. as a representative of God in front of him or next to him, etc. Directly speaking to God and praying to God in a specific way they are not accustomed with, so they have to prevent it. That is the background of now how the chapter is going to start and why it starts as it does. We will go there after listening. Afshan, thank you, Afshan, for your patience. Okay, please go ahead. I'm just muting myself.
Doctor, I was curious about the concept of prophethood. You mentioned that in Islam, the concept is very clear, and it's not so clear in Jewish and Christian tradition. But I feel confused about this because although Christians do not accept prophethood of Jesus, they are exposed to the other prophets, are they not? And while Jews may not believe in the hereafter, don't they have a similar concept of receiving text, like Moses receiving the tablets? I know it's not the focus of your work, but I can't help but be curious about it.
Okay, for your curiosity, maybe the other people also join your curiosity. And it is important to know what is going on around us and also check ourselves where we stand, how strong our feet grounded on the floor, on the earth. So it is, yes, Torah was revealed to Moses. So that is what Torah says. So it is clear there. It is clear there in Judaism. But the other prophets, there are many prophets in the Hebrew tradition. The other prophets received the message from God, but not necessarily that this message will describe as it is in the case of the Quran, what means to believe in God, how it should be, and how it shouldn't be confused with other ideologies creeping into this understanding of God. And also believe in the hereafter with clear evidences as the Quran presents to us, believe in the angels as clear evidences that such things must exist, and the messengers must come with a social structure as Moses did, how to organize your private life, how to organize your social life. It means, we call it Sharia. And also Torah means Sharia, the law, but not much, the clear presentation of the belief in hereafter. As the Quran does, gives examples from what we see in the world, what is going on. For example, how the dead is, for example, when the plants are dead and God revives them, brings them back to God, and the seed example, and it comes out a new, fresh creation out of dead plant. Or, for example, a tree is dead and only the seed is left, but a seed doesn't have anything to do with the tree. Of course, they didn't know DNA, this kind of things, that all the knowledge is preserved there. But a new tree comes out of it, and it is created anew. So that the Quran says, you will be coming out of your, if you like, earth, your old body, as a new tree. Now, these are vivid, clear, experiential examples presented to us. So belief in the hereafter is very much detailed in the Quran. Whereas if you study Torah, it's not that much clear. What is clear in the Torah? The law side of it, as we call it Sharia. Sharia side of it is clear. Yeah. So come to Christianity. Now, in its original form, as the disciples of Jesus believed and followed Jesus as the messenger of God, right? As the messenger of God, appointed by God and presented to human being from his own birth, starting childhood. By the way, we know that from Christian sources and history. We read that when Jesus started declaring his messengership, he was very young. And he lived as a messenger in the world for 3 years. Some people say 3.5. And so he didn't establish any social structure. He didn't bring any kind of law to the people. Just he was calling them to have an understanding of honesty, loving people, each other, loving the other creatures, respecting the creation, and also understanding that God the Father is taking care of us. It was very limited, but it means actually Jesus was sent to renew, correct, revive Torah tradition, not bring a new, if you like, in quote unquote, religion, as the Quran says, the deen, a deen. This is Jesus' mission was different. First of all, local to children of Israel and local to Torah's revival, but not bringing much new message. But especially after a while, just not long after, the Christianity took the shape of St. Paul. And Pauline understanding of Christianity prevailed, especially in the East. Of course, there is we can see some traces of original teachings of Christianity in Orthodox Christians in the Eastern side of it, because Western side was completely pagans. So Eastern side was converted from Judaic tradition into Christian tradition, accepting that something was different from Jesus. And he was the one who is renovated, if you like, revived, if you like, the religion of Moses, the Torah tradition. So if you see that this is not as clear as the prophet, the messenger of God, was not as clear as it is described and presented in the Quran, first of all, and also was not emphasized the importance of belief in the hereafter and belief in the prophethood. But in the Quran, what we see, without belief in the messengership, your belief in God is only your intellectual exercise, gymnastic. Do you see what I mean? Without the messengers, accepting the messenger's message. That is a really important point for us to notice. All the Aminu billahi wa rasulihi, Aminu billahi wa rasulihi, Aminu billahi wa bil yawm al-akhir. When the Quran addresses to the pagan people, if you like, we call it Arab polytheists, but I mean, mushrik, we call them, but it doesn't mean what we understand from it. That is another subject. It is generally understood in another way, a little slightly different, but I can call them the pagans. My personal preference. They were pagans. They didn't know anything about religion. In general, Arabian Peninsula, I'm talking, especially Hijaz area. So they didn't have this concept widely. So when the Quran speaks to them, the Quran emphasizes on belief in the hereafter, believe in God and the hereafter. Amanu billahi wa bil yawmil akhir. Because pagan people needed, first of all, this one. They didn't have this concept of neither Rasul nor hereafter. But I'm sorry, I confused. When he was speaking, when the Quran speaks to the pagan people, he was emphasizing, the Quran was emphasizing on belief in Allah and the messenger. It means aminu billahi wa birusulihi. That was they needed much. But when he speaks to the people of the book, Al-Kitab, the Quran turns the language differently because they have already this concept of prophethood. It uses this phrase, aminu billahi wa bil yawmil akhir, because you have the concept of messengership, more or less somehow, but you need to be emphasized on believing in the hereafter, clear cut. In Torah, if you read the Torah from the beginning to the end, you will see that belief in the hereafter is not as much emphasized at all. It is almost comparable between the Torah and Quranic teaching. The Quran is full of description of hereafter, full of news of hereafter, full of news of warning about the coming hereafter. These are all the most very important matters as far as Quranic teaching is concerned. So they don't, it doesn't mean that they never believed in it. No, it is vague, not stressed on. But in the Quranic teaching, it is very much emphasized on it. So what does it mean? We have a very precious source available to us. It is available for Jews and Christians, but they don't really see it as necessary because they don't know what the Quran is really teaching. Really teaching. Only those politically oriented people who are called Orientalists. So studying the Quran and Islam in order to find out any crack that they can criticize. Political missionaries they are. Not only religious missionaries, political missionaries, because they want to really defame Islam among the Christian community. They are political missionaries. But the common people don't know what the Quran is talking about. Don't you know? I know, as far as I know, you live in New York, and here, well, there are many people. Speak to them. What Quran says, what you will hear mostly, Quran says you can get multiple wives. There's no limit, or something like that. And also women's rights were really very much under restrictions. Women has no value in Muslim society. That's what they say. That's what they hear from Orientals, these political missionaries. That's what they hear. And Muhammad was somehow really, his marriage problem is, it doesn't seem to be an honest man. Although in his time he was regarded as an honest man. That was that time. And it is a Muslim story. In fact, he was married with multiple wives, and one of the wives was very young, or this kind of things. You see what I mean? You hear this. That's what they say, the Muslim countries are always troublemakers, in America especially. They are just very specialized in producing terrorists, etc. That's what they hear from TV. They would never tell you that in Islam, believe in the hereafter, believe in the uniqueness of God, qualities of God is 95% of teachings of the Quran are concentrated on these subjects. The other things that you are talking is, first of all, baseless, baseless claims and politically insulting and assaulting on Islamic religion, just fabricated claims. In fact, but historically you can interpret it in this way and another way, any historical event as you like. Well, because for human mind and for human tongue, there is no a way that you can shut them up. They can speak everything, everybody speaks, and I can speak here, you can speak here as well. This is what we have to understand, actually. That is what the society is. Who will really, tell you that in Islam, belief in the messengership is very important, and it is given the evidences such and such ways. Belief in the hereafter is the essence of Islamic teaching, especially oneness of God is, extensively emphasized, and not committing and confusing with anything else by attributing deity to it. Oh, what does it mean? Even cause and effect is how we see the things. There is no cause in the universe. They will say they are so conditioned. Even some people, some Muslim people also conditioned. What do you mean? There are no cause in the world? Come on. What do you mean by? If you hit something, it breaks. That's it. It is the cause, this is the result. That's what we understand. Our understanding of Tawheed also is, although the people who are familiar with the Quran call themselves believers in the Quran, also their understanding of uniqueness of God is shaky. They said there is one God up there. What is going on in the universe? Causal chain. Because we are weak in educating people in belief matters. Muslim community emphasizes on other things, personal prayers, giving charity, that they are fine. They are necessary. But the more essential parts, how can we really establish oneness of God on a square base that I will never ever have any idea which gives a way to breaking this oneness of God idea of oneness of God. It means oneness means absoluteness of God, absolute sway of controlling everything. Every single thing is every moment under the control, under the creatorship of this absolute being. Nothing affects another. There is no cause. There is only one cause, who is the creator of the universe, owner of the universe, with his absolute qualities. Oh, it is not easy. Because we are not teaching. There's no emphasis in the society. If you go and listen, everybody, they say, God is one, shirk is wrong, never commit shirk. What is shirk? Worshipping idols. Who worships idols nowadays? Who goes and really bows down in front of an idol? But I bow down in front of causes, means, that material means, accepting that if I didn't drink water, I would die. Yeah, it is right. But who is causing death? Water is causing death. No, the death is caused by the creator of the universe. I'm sorry. You understand? Death is caused by the universe of the creator. But how about the water? It is just how the order of the universe is established by the will of God. It is arranged under him, and the order doesn't work on its own.
Brother Murmur, you're muted.
I must have done so. Thank you for reminding me. I must have done something. Oh, is it? It is not muted now. I don't know.
Yes, now I can hear you.
No. I got excited so that I touch my, how do you say this, keyboard. So what is happening? Okay, now go back. Extensive study of belief in God as an absolute being, source of existence of the universe, and everything is individually under his control, and bring the evidence. Believe in, for example, hereafter, evidences as brought by the Quran. But what we say, I believe in God, and shirk is wrong because idols have no power. What are the idols? And some people go to this much only, worshipping in, for example, money or social status. How about your explanation of the existence of the universe? This is another subject. We are going to study the chapter Shams. Okay, there is I think in the chat box, something is going on. Let me see what's going on. Okay, stop video, no, chat, okay. Let me see. In the belief, is the belief in the hereafter requisite for believing God? Oh, it's an interesting question. Yeah, I love this kind of challenging questions. Okay. Let me go back to chat box again. Belief in the hereafter requisite for belief in God. Now, I would say the answer is, for me, sure, yes. Hey, is my video?
Yes, your camera was on, yeah.
I can turn it off for you.
Turn it on. Off. I cannot turn it off. Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Is my, okay, hereafter, look, if you, for example, you mean not Afshan or any of you, in general, if a person doesn't believe in hereafter, who is God? What belief in God is good for you? There is no hereafter. If there is no hereafter, that I will die and disappear, whether God exists or not, none of my business, my friend Afshan. I'm going to disappear from existence at the end anyways. Why should I care about my creator anymore? I have a creator, but at the end, I will become nothing. Do you understand this? The importance of belief in hereafter? I would say they are believe in hereafter and believe in God, prerequisite of each other. But I would even go further, believe in revelation, believe in the prophethood, prerequisite of each other's, if you like, others. They work hand in hand together. I can believe in the hereafter, but not God. What does it mean? Who is going to bring the hereafter? This universe cannot bring the hereafter. It is going to die itself. After billions of years, doesn't matter, at the end, it will die itself. It cannot really preserve its existence, sustain its existence. What shall I do with it? So no one can bring hereafter if there is no absolute creator. If there is an absolute creator, but there is no hereafter, what shall I do with this absolute creator? I'm going to disappear from existence at the end. It means nothing to believe in hereafter, to believe in God. Do you understand? To me, it's so clear. And also, I can extend this since the subject is opened, although we are really far away from our subject, chapter Shams. Okay, these are important matters, really. These are important matters. If there is no revelation, there is no revelation. My belief in the hereafter and my belief in God would go further than my own speculation or my wishful hope. If you like, there is no such thing, wishful hope, wishful thinking. It means I am hoping. Because the universe seems to be meaningful, right? And there seemed to be an hereafter, as I hear not as I hear, my senses tell me there must be, and there is a creator, but how can I make sure that really this creator reveals himself to me not only in creation like this, but also speaking to me at my level to assure that he promises the hereafter and he gives the evidence of hereafter in the type of this creation, and confirms that my perception of such a thing, that hereafter and God, must exist by his verbal explanation that I can assure myself. Otherwise, it would be only my hope as a result of my own speculation. Without revelation, universe doesn't fulfill the requirements of my human side. We have to understand this. So far we studied what? Believing in God, believe in hereafter, believe in revelation, and the representation of the revelation by a human being in front of me. In front of me means really presently executing the whatever revealed to him in his own personal life, and presenting to me the exemplary practice of the content of the Quran. 4 of them. You cannot ignore any of them. You cannot say, without this, it happens as well. Especially, for example, if there is no hereafter, there is no revelation, no prophet, believe in God. There are people who said there is a creator in the universe. Don't they? Yes, they accept. How about revelation? I don't know. The religion is something really politically corrupted institution or economically corrupted institution. It is just the clergy really cheating people and getting their status, somehow their livelihood, making money out of it, status among the society. Just really, I don't want to follow anyone, but I want to follow the belief that there is a God. Yeah, okay. I believe that there is a God. Okay. What does the belief in God bring into your life? Yeah. If you didn't believe in God, what will be lacking in your life without belief in hereafter, messenger, religion? What value, what virtue it adds this belief in God to your life. You live as you feel like, whether your emotions, your caprices, you don't have any distinction. You don't have a unit of measurement. You don't have any criteria whether my choice that this is right, this is wrong, is really correct. How can I make sure that my choice is secure, that it is really on the right side? My human feelings are innocent. Yes, human feelings are innocent. I totally agree, and we are going to study in chapter Shams as well. Definitely, human feelings are innocent. Human potentials are perfect and innocent. Perfect, I agree. But you have free will, my dear friend. With the free will, you choose this way or another way and get habits and establish your own values together with the impact of the community around you, the civilization around you. The civilization, the culture, the education imposes on you many, many different kinds of ideologies and also priorities to your life. How would you know that where these priorities have their limits, and after what extent these priorities may be really corrupt, wrong? What is the criterion? In one meaning of religion, religion must be understood in the sense of being a criterion. Although the Quran itself describes itself as Furqan, the criterion. So Quran is the criterion. What the Quran teaches me is the religion. Therefore, religion is or must be my criterion. Of course, the concept of religion is corrupt in today's community or today's civilization, today's culture. Religion means in this culture, institution, the church, the mosque, the synagogue or temple. Religion means some clergy, not really the criterion for your life. Whether it is in the form of an institution or not, maybe a clergy may claim that he knows better than you. Regardless, you need a criteria for your life. And this criteria must be presented to you by the one who created your pure potentiality, which is called spirit, your pure soul. So this criterion, the pure soul, should not be corrupt. We will study main subject of chapter Shams goes around this pivot point. This criterion must help you to preserve the spirit, which is essentially pure, by the influence of or really making it filthy by human free choice and external influences imposed on me, and developed habits which is imposed on me by maybe family wise, maybe education wise, maybe social structure wise, maybe certain, especially nowadays, media. Yeah, media, news, state policy. Who can clear himself of the influence of state policy in any country? State policy really manipulates the people's understanding of life. And everything, especially the media, is arranged around this view. To me, if you ask me, my frank confession is this: media is created in order to impose state policy on people. Whether this way or another way, doesn't matter. Under the control of state power. State power is under the control of certain people, especially money owners. Everything beyond your control. But we have to be immune against the influence of this external, if you like, attacks, assaults to our pure spirit. How can I? And also, I have free will, and I can develop my own priorities within my own self by taking the conditions of external world, outside world, and how can I really protect my pure potential human side, which is spirit, by myself, especially having the option of choosing this way or another way. Yeah, it's very important. The two ways, one is true, one is wrong, is opened in front of human free will. How can I make sure that I'm always making right choice? I'm following my human feelings, but do I or am I able to preserve my human feelings? These are very important and current problems of our time. I'm happy to hear this kind of questions, and also one side of me says, come on, go back to the chapter. The other side of me again says, but these are very important matters. We have to frankly talk about it. We have to present our problems, our questions here clearly. If somebody stands up here and says that I'm an atheist, what are you talking about? I don't believe in anything. Well, tell me. I'm not going to do anything to you. I'm not going to shout at you or blame you. Just I will say, oh, let's talk. Let's talk. Maybe if it is completely outside the content of the subject we are studying here, well, let's arrange a meeting with you. And I will respect you. Even you can come and visit to me. I don't mind about COVID or some whatever they call it. So, because this is very essential for me and for you. I have to hear you. I have to listen to you. You have to listen to me. And we have to exchange each other, try to help each other, to correct each other. Okay, we are human beings. That is the freedom Quran gives us. So Quran itself asks people, Hatu burhanakum. If you don't believe what the Quran says, it means what I say, God says what I say. Bring your counter argument evidence. Hatu burhanakum. It's very easy. Bring your evidence. It is so clear. It is an open challenge. You cannot come up with an idea which challenges what the Quran says, and which convinces the human mind, freely thinking human mind, not conditioned by human mind. For example, I believe that I must live this kind of life. I cannot live without it. Yeah, but tell me how I should live. If you have your restrictions already put there, what shall I tell you now? Free yourself. Everybody should think freely. Okay. Now, shall we go back to the chapter? Since we have some minutes. Okay, 13 minutes we are left. Oh, of course, maybe we may stop a bit earlier because the sunset prayer, Maghrib prayer, time is really getting late. Oh, I don't know what to do. Maybe we may have a break next week in between and feel comfortable about the time frame, or we may stop at the latest 8, but maybe a little bit before 8. Okay, let's go to the first slide. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, consider the sun and its radiant brightness. Okay, and the moon as it follows it by reflecting its light. والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها. And consider the day as it displays the sun's glory. Now, these words are amazing to me. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَاهَا, and the night when it covers it with darkness. First of all, the rhythmic, poetic side of these things are, shocking, especially those people who have nothing but poetry. Their culture is based on poetry. So when they hear this, amazing. And also talking the creation like this, the world around them like this, wasn't the subject of those people's content of their poems. It was also interesting, a new type of poetry coming out here, and also content is so interesting when talking in a way that, look, think about the sun. It is witnessing to something, consider about it, and it is radiant brightness. Look at it, moon as it follows it, by reflecting its light. It means, again, there is an amazing combination of the relationship between the celestial bodies. Of course, they don't know galaxies. They know only what the stars up there, and that's it. The sky is the stars they can see in the dark desert life at night. Yeah, it is amazing. Yeah, dazzling. Yeah, I understand. But no, layers of billions of galaxies. But we know now. But it is evident that the Quran speaks to people as they practically experience what they see there. Everybody knows the sun, the moon, and the night, and the daytime. So again, consider the day as it appears, the sun's glory, the night. What is that? When it covers it with darkness. Why these contradictions are presented too? Yeah. So the sun emits light, radiant brightness. Moon follows it, reflecting it. The moon is not really emitting light, just reflecting light. So there is difference. But these differences will have its content, what the message is going to tell now, but first drawing the attention of the people to the celestial movements going on there and thinking, how come that they exist in this way? How this relationship between the sun and the moon was established in a perfect order. They never deviate from their orbit. What is that? Who is taking care of it? What does it mean that this wonderful universe exists in this way as it is? What is it to do with me? Is that interesting? I really wonder how it is happening that the audience. But you can go beyond it now. That time, these were the important events, but of course it is extendable now. How about the arrangement between galaxies? How about this relationship between the rays we receive from all huge, far away stars? And the relationship between the earth and between the moon, and how the day and night follow each other. How it is arranged. Think about it. But the subject is going into this polarity of the creation and perfect order in it. It will go into the human, very inner sense that we have this polarity in us. Spirit calls us to one direction, egoistic caprices calls us which is represented in the Quranic language as the Satan, to another, and who is arranging this relationship in human beings. And what am I going to do? They are going to be related to some human spiritual experience of himself, herself. So we will bear in mind that this is just a kind of preparing the minds of the people to think about the creation. And then you will come back to yourself to think about yourself. But it's just preparation. But this is also pay attention and think about them. Washamsi means, we studied long ago, and on many occasions, actually, more than twice, 3 times, maybe more, that these swearing words, Washamsi, by the sun, I swear by the sun, means I bring you the sun as the evidence which manifestly presents to you my evidence, presents to you the evidence of my presence in this world. That's what you have to do now. When you see the sun, what you have to do, it cannot really act by itself. It's just it seems to be a huge, big thing there, and follows a rule of orbit, cannot go out of it. It means it is under the control of something. They're asking the human beings to reflect on this, how this seemingly, but it is not really complicated as it is compared to the relationship between the galaxies. It seems to be simple, but for majority of the people, for me, I don't know anything about astronomy. So it is quite complicated. As it looks to my capacity now, as far as my capacity lets me understand this, sun, the earth, the moon, and the other planets around it, and other stars, and the relationship between the sun with its, if you like, planets around it, earth and others, altogether, without spoiling their order, they are also following another system. But we have the solar system. There are other solar systems. The sun is following that system within its own galaxy. Now we can extend our imagination with the knowledge that we receive from the experts of the subject. So we will say, well, really, it's a very, very interesting events are going on up there, and also Earth, and also in my daily life, night and day. So night is perfectly prepared for me, for my resting, sleep, calm. The people stop their movements here and there. Activities are relaxed, maybe come almost to an end, except New York. So New York never sleeps. So New York spoils this night and day concept. Okay, not everywhere, but in Manhattan mainly. That's all what they call New York. So consider the day as it displays the sun's glory. Yeah, when Nahari that Laha, really brightness is everywhere. with the sun, with the radiant received from the sun. So everybody is alive, get relaxed, and now they are not tired anymore. They are comfortable. They can work. They can do their relationship with the other creatures, other people, etc. Now, this is just a presentation, starting point. Think about all this. So, especially we have to understand that these things must have an owner. They are under the control of something. If the sun, now look, slowly we will come there. If the sun, the moon, these huge things up there, very interesting things are going on, must be under the control of an owner or something. How about myself? Huh? How about myself? Inshallah, we will stop here. But I have to go a bit fast away. So the relationship between the sun and the human soul, just to prepare our minds that we are going to study, inshallah, next week, Monday, how these things prepare ourselves and get ready to realize the difference in our own existence. It means options. It is very important. I'm going to use my free will as a steering wheel, how I should use it, which direction I should take. Go fast now. Okay. Now. Okay, it goes on. Here we are. قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها. He who purifies it indeed is successful, like the sun scattering radiant brightness. وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا, and he who corrupts it indeed is ruined, becomes under darkness. The spirit is imprisoned under darkness. Wow. But if it is purified, we will talk about it, of course. I'm saying that the minds are prepared in order to go to this point, so that I will see all the turbulence, what is going on within my own self, and my responsibility, having the free will, which direction I should take. So that is the main target of this chapter. But we will see how the minds of human beings are prepared, so that if, for example, we are going to tell somebody, please don't corrupt yourself, don't really support corruption in the society, be honest, etc., and be respectful to to other people, and also follow justice. Of course, we don't jump into the subject. We start, look at this word, man, so interesting. As if it has nothing to do with me. So, and then see the polarity in the creation there, positive, negative, you see what I mean? And the night and day, the bright sun emitting light, and moon receiving and reflecting different functions. Inshallah, we will learn from it the method how we should educate ourselves, and if we want to help others, how we should really help others, which method we should follow, as the Quran is guiding method for us. Now, what I will do here, I will stop. It is already late. I broke my promise. 8 o'clock last minute. It is 2 minutes after 8. Okay, I will straight away stop and hope to see you, if possible, Saturday morning, or if not, next Monday, again at 6:30. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I am being a bit quick now.